Is it working? Hello everyone. Happy Monday. Anika here with your daily neuro nugget. And let's talk about Dylan Mortenson, shall we? Because I am positive that all of you have already watched an onslaught of videos talking about the new documents that were dropped, right? So if you guys are in here, make sure that you leave a comment in the chat. Make sure that you are liking, make sure that you are subscribing to these videos. And so many of you have told me, guys, that you are not getting the notifications for the live. So again, right, if you're in here, make sure that comment in the chat. And I am just pulling up. There it is. It was being slow. How was your weekend, by the way? How was your weekend? Hello, everybody. Hello. Ooh, Big Plans, Little Cities in. Nadine is in. Hi, Hoppers. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Misbehaving. Hello, everyone. So I'm pulling up, guys, this document that dropped just a few days ago. It's the reply to the order on state's motion in limine, the text messages, and the 911 call, right? And I am not going to have the time, unfortunately, to go through all 25 pages. So make sure that if you want to follow along, I'm going to pin this document in the description. That way, if you guys want to follow along on the replay or whatever, you can. So I'm just going to skip right over to page 3 out of 25, guys. And it's a little bit insane because I've been questioning Dylan Mortenson. The family here, guys, at Nika's Neuro Nuggets, we have neurons left. And of course, it makes sense for us who are objective and who are not attached to any outcome of this case to question everything and everybody, especially the two females, the two grown women that allegedly heard all these strange noises at the house for hours, allegedly saw a masked assailant over 3 plus times, and never called 911, right? But when we have questioned Dylan, when we have questioned Bethany, somebody always comes to the rescue. It's like their lack of objectivity does not allow them to be able to be unbiased. And when we take off that, when we remove that fog, when we remove that bias from our eyes, yeah, we're going to question the 2 people that were allegedly at the crime scene when the crime was taking place, allegedly saw this masked, scary man, and then lied about being frozen in shock because whether that was something that came out of Dylan's mouth or whether that was something that was put in the PCA by our favorite police department in the US of A. Frozen in shock, we now know, is something that did not happen because they were tick-tocking, yik-yakking, Snapchatting, Instagramming, Indeeding, LinkedIn, whatever else they were doing. So no, this is crazy. Did Dylan put herself in a very questionable situation? Because page 3, Dylan sees Xana face down. Doesn't call the cops, okay? Hold the fuck up, people. If you are a guilter, please let me know. Again, be respectful in the chat. It's okay if we all disagree, that's fine. But let me know, how is it that you are giving her still a benefit of the doubt? Because this is what this document says, right? During the foregoing exchange, Dylan Mortenson also attempted contacting Ethan Chapin through Snapchat. I just think it's funny that they still put DM instead of Dylan Mortenson. It's like, come on now. We know by now that her name is Dylan Mortenson, okay? Stop trying to, again, like, what's the point of trying to protect her? She was literally out and about posting things on social media right after the crime. Was she not? Allegedly, was she not? Through Snapchat. She again tried calling Kaylee and Xana, but neither responded. Again, hold up there. Why are you even calling Kaylee? Weren't you supposed to be with her the whole night? Weren't you the person that had allegedly lured or invited Kaylee back over to Moscow? Why did you abandon her if you were supposed to be her plus one, or she was supposed to be your plus one? Just asking questions, people. Stop getting all emotional. Look, I have emotions too, right? I'm a human being. But when we are looking at cases that don't make any sense, and there is a life on the line here, the life of Mr. Brian Kohberger, and when we are still trying to get actual justice for these 4 beautiful people, we're going to ask questions. Dylan Mortenson then exited her room and began running towards Bethany Funk's bedroom. I'm sorry, but if you were supposedly so afraid that you had to run from your room toward Bethany's bedroom, right? And for people that saying, well, they were at a hotel. No, sir. No, ma'am. They were not, according to the PCA. But the PCA was skewed. Okay, but was it? Because I've noticed that people that like to say that the PCA was skewed only like to believe that the PCA is skewed when it relates to Bethany, when it relates to Dylan. Because anytime I mention that the PCA may be potentially skewed and it's something that may help look Mr. Kohberger look a little bit less guilty, they're like, no, Nika, that is not what happened. That is not in the PCA. But of course, they're like, well, it's Dylan, it's Bethany. Okay, if they were so scared, they were there, right? Dylan ran from her room, went to Bethany's room. And if you were so afraid, why didn't you just leave? Because to get to Bethany's bedroom, you had to pass the door to leave the house. So you must have not been that afraid, because you literally could have just exited, but you still chose not to. So maybe not that afraid, right? On her way, she noticed Xana lying on the floor of her bedroom with her head towards the wall and her feet toward the door. I'm sorry. Okay, this is why I have to question the brain capacity of the guilters. And look, we don't know. To this day, I don't know. Maybe Kohberger is involved in one way or another. Maybe he did commit the entire crime by his lonesome. But I doubt it. Especially when now this document that just dropped is telling us that Dylan actually saw Xana lying on the floor of her bedroom with her head toward the wall and her feet toward the door. Again, we have been told time and time again by everybody, by Chief Fry, by coroners, by police departments, by the locals, that this crime was horrific. It was a mess. It was disturbing. Supposedly, it was so disturbing that they didn't even let the coroner enter until much later. So we're supposed to now all of a sudden pretend that there is no way in hell that Dylan Mortenson actually saw any red fluids, didn't smell anything. You didn't see any red fluids, Dylan? You just saw her face down? You just saw her lying on the floor? DM thought Xana was drunk. Okay, but did she? Let me find on page 4 what Dylan actually said. Okay, because this is again on the legal document saying, well, she thought she was drunk, but listen and let me know your opinions, because this is a phrase that allegedly, according to this document, came out of the mouth of Dylan Mortenson, and it's highly questionable in my opinion, right? It says, at approximately 11:50 a.m., Dylan called her friend EA and asked her to come over and check the house because she was scared. EA and her boyfriend HJ came over. They met Dylan and Bethany at the bottom floor of the house. Together, Dylan, Bethany, and HJ started to walk up the stairs to the second floor. When they reached the second floor, HJ went to the kitchen to grab a knife. When he came back out, Dylan Mortenson saw Xana again for a split second, and I just started bawling because I thought she had just I don't even know. I thought maybe she was just so drunk and asleep at the floor. See how that doesn't make sense? Do you see how that doesn't make sense? She is, in my opinion, this is my opinion only, contradicting herself, because why in the fuck? Oh my God, Nika, you didn't used to cuss. Hello, we have emotions. I have emotions. I'm allowed to do whatever I want here, basically, right? If you don't like it, you know, some days, Nika, you don't cuss enough. You're like a Karen. Like, you know, you're just too whatever. Okay, we do what we want here, right? We go with the flow. We go with what we're feeling. And this, I'm feeling, it's a crock of shit, guys. Literally a crock of shit. Why did you start bawling? Why would Dylan supposedly say that she started bawling? I thought maybe she was just still drunk and all asleep on the floor. Really? 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 Oh my God. Because that like doesn't like even make sense. Because like if I like totally had seen my sorority girls passed out through the crack, you know, from a door or whatever, like I wouldn't just like start bawling. Because I'd be like, wake up. You're drunk still, right? Does that make sense? No, you would start bawling. And she changed her phrase. She never finished her phrase. Interesting. Interesting. She changed, in my opinion, in the direction this conversation was going. Saw Xana again for a split second, and I just started bawling because I thought she had just like, I don't even know. And then she says, I thought maybe she was just so drunk and all asleep on the floor. So why are you bawling? No, I think that she knew what had happened. There's no reason for you to start bawling if you think she's just drunk. Does it make sense? No, it does not make sense. It does not make sense. HJ told Dylan and Bethany to get out. EA, who had started up the stairs, also turned around after HJ instructed her not to come any further. They both went outside. Shortly afterwards, HJ exited the house and told him to call 911. He was pale white and mentioned something about someone being unconscious. Unconscious. I don't know. That little bit out of this entire 25 page document that I read, guys, that phrase coming out of her mouth doesn't make sense to me. I think she started bawling. If she even started bawling, would be because she had a feeling that something had happened there. And maybe, just maybe, it is my opinion that she was too afraid or too much of a coward to admit that she had a gut feeling, or maybe she knew exactly what had taken place at that house, especially if she had been there the whole time. Okay, we're supposed to believe that, okay, literally red fluid leaked. We've all seen those pictures with the images of 1122 King Road. We see the red fluid coming out of the foundation, coming out by the windows. It was probably a mess. It was coming out of the house. You never smelled it. You never smelled it. You don't have to be a lab scientist to understand that the smell of red fluid alone, just a couple drops sometimes. Can you guys smell it? I can smell it, just a couple drops. So you can smell the minerals, right? You can smell the iron. And we're supposed to believe that she never smelled anything. Now, she saw this masked assailant 3 times, arm's length away, baby. Arm's length away from him, allegedly. And what did she do? No, she went on Yik Yak and TikTok. How are we not supposed to question that? Make it make sense, people. Wake up. Wake up. And again, if you are if you call yourself a guilter, if you identify as a guilter, that's fine. But let me know, how do you bypass that? How do you bypass that? All of that Dylan said and saw. And you guys, some of the guilters, that's who I mean by you guys. You guys, the guilters, want us to say, well, she was drunk, you know, okay. Yes, allegedly she was, because allegedly, she started her day drinking mimosas, followed by hard liquor, followed by a game of binge drinking. That's fine, right? But then you can't have both. You can't have her binge drinking since the early morning hours and then still believing her statements. They are contradictory things. You can't have both. So pick one, babe. Pick one, right? I personally want to know what they were doing on TikTok. I want to know what they were posting on Yik Yak because they were on there. I want to retrieve the conversations that she was having with her father. She called daddy. She called daddy. Is Dylan just unhinged? Hello, Allie. Newbie here. Love your channel. Thank you so much. Welcome. Welcome, Allie, guys, in the chat. Be nice. Welcome to the family. Hello, Nadine. Hello, Jen. Thank you for the neuron. Thank you. Hello, Capelli. Hello, Only in Detroit. SG needs a gag order. Yes, I agree with that. And from what I've seen, he's also been doing way more interviews. How is it that he's allowed to, like, you know? Hey, Roy. Hello, Authority on Regulations. Hi, Robert. How in the world are we supposed to believe that she saw Xana lying on the floor and didn't see any red fluid? She didn't smell anything. And I know you have all heard the rumor of the door, the door of the house being wide open around 8 a.m. That's a rumor, right? Why would the door be open? If you think about how much stench would be in that home. By the way, when people pass away, guys, they release other body fluids, right? Urine, feces, all kinds of body fluids come out. That home was probably very smelly. So it is my theory that that door, if it was actually found open, it was probably left open on purpose to air the smell out. And it was cold at that time in Idaho. Are we supposed to believe that Dylan never saw that that door was open? Because you passed right by it to get to Bethany's room. So what the hell, right? So thank you guys all for joining. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to be doing another live today, probably sometime soon-ish. I want to talk about Brian. But I want to keep it away from here so it's not too messy, too combined with Dylan Mortenson. I personally think she is a somewhat unhinged individual, if not, at the very least, questionable, right? So let me know, guys. Please vote. I always actually do tally up these votes just for my own reference. I'm just always curious. If you do think that Dylan knows something else that she may not be saying, or even maybe that she could have been involved in one way or another, directly or indirectly, please leave a 1. And if you think that she knows nothing, she is a perfect angel, she is a perfect college girl, she never has done anything bad, and there's no way that she could know anything else. You think that she was still, to this day, you still believe the frozen in shock theory, please leave it too. No judgments, right? So thank you guys for joining me. See you soon. Bye-bye.